Hey guys, don't fall for these CVT kits you see. They're overpriced. It's just a lot of bling. I mean, unless you want the cool look and you have an ankle biter and you want to show off stuff. So here's an example for $375. You can get the Dorby Works, what is this? The titanium neochrome super transmission set. And this will make your GY6, that's what we got here, go 75 to 95 miles per hour. That's crazy, huh? NCY Performance Gen 4 CVT kit. Look at that, 200 and what did that thing cost? $248. And you get all this cool stuff with it. You can customize it. The drive face, your drive face in your stock bike is already $115. If you get this drive face, you're buying a part you already have. But if you were to get the really light slider, you know, the sheath assembly and the light bell housing, and this good clutch and the cool looking thing, look what we're up to now, $517. The rolling wrench, what's this one gonna be? Ooh, $621. That's the Pro Built Ultimate CVT Ravino clutch. Holy cow. Well, here at Ghetto Wrench, it's power to the people. It's people over profit. So we're gonna do this for about 75 bucks. Tried and tested on all Dorby Works builds. Now it says it's 70 to 90 miles an hour road tested. Engine speeds used 171 big bore kits. 150 can achieve 70 miles an hour. So on a stock 150, we can get 70 miles an hour on this. Overdrive variator, I'm gonna guess he's talking about the 115 millimeter, because anything bigger you're gonna start hitting the case. 842 belt. So the 842 belt's like 15 bucks. Your 115 variator is a good one, 60 bucks, you know, an NCY gold variator. So what are we up to here? $75. And that will make a difference, like we talked. Think of your clutch like a bicycle in the gears. You first take off and it's easy to pedal. The front sprocket's real small, like this, and the back sprocket's real big. You gotta make the, gotta go to a bigger round front sprocket and a smaller round back sprocket to go faster. Make it harder to pedal, go faster. The engine RPM pushes the rollers, it pushes this variator in. It's going to pull the belt together to a bigger diameter, so the belt needs to grow in length, but it can't. So what the belt does in the rear, on the clutch side, is it pulls itself down into this clutch and separates these plates. And that's where it gets the nice little gear in the back. So the variator coming together in the front is actually pulling the belt down into the bottom here. If your belt's too long, it won't pull it all the way down. So this will be bigger around. Remember, this is spinning your back wheel. So the littler that is, the more RPMs this wheel goes for every time that belt goes around. Yeah, so the 107 millimeter variator is what comes stock on your GY6 150. And with the 835 belt, runs great. When you run that 835 belt, it only goes to about right here. So it's a little bit limited in the length. The 842 will allow that belt to come all the way to the top of the variator. So it's worth more top speed. So it's a good mod, maybe. But the belt is long enough that it may not allow the belt to go all the way small on your clutch side. Personally, I've had better luck with the 835 belts on a stock motor and the 842 belts with a little bit of horsepower. And with the 8240 belt, I like to get the 115 variator. You can put in heavier roller weights to get that belt to push to the outer edge, but you may not have the horsepower to do it. So if you've got increased horsepower, let's say you've got a smoothbore carb and you've got a cam and things like that, yeah, definitely run the 842 belt. It'll have the power to push it to the outside edge. And you still may not achieve your maximum speed because this is limited to 107. So then the next step, you would get rid of this and get a 115mm version of this. Your adjustment on that variator, besides the size of it, the bigness around of it, are these little roller weights. And they're inside these little things. There's 6 of them in there. And they come in different weights. So as this spins around faster, as that thing spins around with the engine, the roller weights roll to the outside. And they go up these little ramps here, and they end up sitting about right up in here somewhere. As they roll to the outside, they lift this plate up. They actually push that plate up. But what's really happening is this plate is fixed against the drive shaft motor and the motor. So it pushes the variator out. It pushes this variator out towards the drive belt and forces the belt to climb up this incline. Ultralight aluminum neochrome outer drive face. Okay, if you want to get some ultralight parts and you have a 50, your drive face is also your flywheel. Do not get aluminum, or you will end up like this one here, and you will tear the teeth off of it because it's too cheesy, and your starter will just spin. The clutch, so in the back, this pulley's spinning around like crazy, and it's being spread apart and it's being pushed together depending on what the variator up front is doing. It's being pushed back together or resisting being spread apart by a spring. I forget what they're called. Conte spring, compression spring, torque spring, all sorts of names for it. That's your big spring. This springs come in different weight. As the yellow one, they say 1500. You got black ones that are 1000 RPM for stock. And this would be lighter weight than this one. They have a red one, I think, that's even 2000 RPM. So stock is 1000, we'll say, or black. And it takes so much pressure for that belt to pull these apart, and it tries to resist it, so it automatically goes back into that lower gear, and then your engine's going to pull that belt, compress the spring, and push it into a higher gear. So you can change these springs to adjust how hard it is to do that, but you could end up limiting yourself on top speed if you get too heavy of a spring. It'll keep it from shifting early so the bike doesn't bog down, but that heavier spring may not allow the plates to come all the way apart so the belt can slide down in there to get to your highest gear. So it's one of those things you have to play with. That spring goes between here and here. It's being squished in between here. So this actually spins around on a bearing freely. It doesn't actually drive the back wheel. This thing is just spinning with the engine. You're sitting at idle, and you're not going anywhere. You're at a stoplight. This thing's spinning around. When this thing spins, it's notched right here to spin. This plate, that's your clutch. So that engages right there. That springs between there, and this whole apparatus is spinning. The whole thing is just spinning around with your engine. You're not going anywhere. This piece right here is your clutch bell. It's splined. It's actually on that shaft that comes out that drives your rear wheel. So this is splined. This is sitting here stationary. If you turn this, you turn the rear wheel. If your rear wheel turns, this turns. That is spline to your rear wheel. Then that shaft comes out, and on that shaft is all this. This is just free rolling on the back of that shaft. You can spin it without moving the bike. At a certain RPM of spinning, this piece right here, when this thing spins fast enough, these little arms come out like this. The centrifugal force is pulling them out. There's 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. Look like brake shoes. When those arms come out, they engage this metal thing, your clutch bell. So this is spinning around inside there. The arms come out and engage that just like a drum brake does, and it forces the whole thing to spin, which drives your back wheel. Okay, ultralight large shoe NCY racing clutch. Now honestly, unless your clutch is slipping, the larger shoes are not going to make you faster. Again, once the clutch is engaged, it's engaged. You're only going to go so fast. That clutch and that bell housing, when they become one, when those shoes spread and they become one, it doesn't matter how performance anything is in there. As long as it's not slipping and it's not worn out, that is not going to make you go faster. We've got the ultralight slotted and vented clutch bell. That's the part that the shoes are going to grab, the part on the outside that actually turns the rear wheel. And yes, again, the light weight will accelerate you faster. It's less weight to spin, so less rotating mass, and you'll get a little bit quicker bike, but it can't go faster. There's the Polini clutch that you can adjust in here when these come out and engage. There's some that, I forget which one it is, that comes out straight, not at an angle, so it's a better engagement. There's a Ravino clutch. It's like a dirt bike with clutch plates, and doesn't really matter. They sell these as performance parts. The truth is they're not. Once this engages this, your performance is over. That's one piece and it's turning. Matter of feel, it's preference, it's how does it engage, things like that. The only thing you can adjust is what RPM this gate engages at. These springs right here resist it from engaging, and those springs can be changed, and they sell these springs, you know, 1500 RPM. Can get more acceleration by getting the engine going really fast and then engaging it and then taking off faster and doing a burnout. So you could put heavier springs in there and get that. And it's got a ball bearing spring seat in it. As these plates spread, the way they spread, they have to twist. It has to turn when it spreads. It turns that spring with it. So there could be some binding in here. So what they do is they have ball bearings that sit down inside here, and that way the spring doesn't have to twist. The spring can just go up and down and rotate on the ball bearings. And that's a pretty cool mod. So underneath here is what I was talking about. This is how it slides up and down on this angled thing. Some of these plates will have, you see it attaches at 3 points. Some of them will have another set of grooves that are a different angle. And that's more of a tuning and preference thing. I mean, once you're in high gear, it's in high gear. There's nothing you're changing. It's just how it gets there. So when it says dual range secondary slider pulley, that's what they're talking about. The 2 different grooves. Doesn't make it faster. So the only thing that made it faster on here was the variator being bigger and the belt being longer. And that's if you have enough power to push that higher gearing. A stock 150, I don't think it does. You start getting into some mods, a 150 can. So when he says a 150 can achieve 70 miles an hour, that's probably a 150 with maybe a smoothbore carb, a cam, things like that. You know, pipe, nice intake, but no, a stock 150 is not going to go faster with this. A modded 150 probably will, but it sure the hell ain't doing 70 miles an hour. That's just a bold-faced lie. And they advertise this to, of course, quicker acceleration. That's probably true. Reach, faster top speeds, and that's true also because you're going to have that bigger variator. Makes your GY6 the smoothest running transmission in town. Yeah, it's probably smoother than stock. with these, more quality clutches. They're going to engage a little bit better. So not too big of a lie here. It's just a lot of money. Here at Ghetto Wrench, I would not recommend buying a CVT kit. I would stick with the Ghetto Wrench philosophy. If I wanted a performance transmission kit, I would get the 115 variator. I would get the Gates US made brand new 842 belt, nice crisp belt, and then I would get one of these roller kits. Now these rollers are junk. This is purely for tuning your variator. They come in, everything from 6 grams all the way up to 17 grams. And these things are shit quality. This is not something you put in your bike and run with. They're junk. But the weight is accurate on them. I mean, it's a good brand. Prima's a good brand. They make stuff for, it's like Vespa's, kind of like off-brand. And run these rollers. Do a lot of adjustments. Find the rollers you like. And when you get the rollers you like, you buy good rollers. You buy the good ones in the grams you want. And that's how you tune that transmission. Then on the back, if you don't like how the bike takes off, your engagement speed, you can adjust your springs in the back. And really, that's about all you need to do for your transmission.